Assalamu alaikum. We're live here at The Real Agenda. Again, welcoming you into my classroom, and we have a special guest today. We'll be discussing the coronavirus and natural remedies. Our guest today, our expert, is Dr. Iqbal Saeed Muhammad. He's a PhD and he's a naturopathic and doctor who specialises in herbal medicines. So we'll be discussing the impact of coronavirus, and we'll be looking acutely at things that can help boost our immunity. Now, just a quick disclaimer, we're not here going to today be claiming that we have a cure for anything. We're not saying that any of the things we're going to mention today are a cure for the coronavirus. We're not mentioning that at all. But in terms of natural remedies, things the doctor feels, and what we've looked into in terms of prevention and helping us have a strong immune system. Dr. Iqbal, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you so much, Brother Mo, for having me on the show. I think it's something that's very much in the media so much, and people are panicking, to be honest with you. But anyway, I shall let you proceed.
Inshallah. So let's break into the subject. So,
sure.
What is the coronavirus and what are the symptoms?
Okay, the coronavirus is like any other virus, really. Obviously, everybody knows it started in China and it's spread across to various. It's intercontinental now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere now. Basically, the symptoms can vary from person to person, but the general consensus is that people have a parching of the throat, they have a dry mouth. Initially it starts as that, and then they have a very sore throat, possibly very similar to tonsillitis, and then eventually, as the virus moves down towards the lungs, it causes short of breath or breathlessness,
Mm-hmm.
and also a tightness of the upper thoracic cavity.
Yeah.
And should anyone experience this, they should seek urgent medical advice. But prior to then, I mean, a lot of people are confusing the symptoms of the common cold with coronavirus. So there's a lot of panic out there. So people shouldn't really worry too much.
Yeah, when I was looking into it, although it's kind of it's from the family of coronavirus, is from that family of the common cold. The coronas can have different effects. Some are more flu-y in their nature, but others are more chest infection, bronchial pneumonia type of things. And
That's
this is
right.
leans towards the latter, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, like I said, with any kind of illness, every person displays different symptoms. Now, again, I'll highlight the fact: should there be a lot of weight on the chest area, or a tightness around the upper thoracic rib cage, etc., then obviously we need to seek medical advice and take precautionary measures in accordance to the virus itself. So
one myth is that, it's like the flu or the common cold. Okay, in a way. What other myths are there surrounding the coronavirus? Because a lot of people just circulate information, sometimes without it being verified. So,
I've received so many, I've received so many texts and posts in relation to coronavirus. One of the major drawbacks of this false information is that people seem to think that if they take massive antibiotics, it's going to cure the illness. And we know viral infections are not cleared. Even the common cold cannot be cleared by antibiotics. It's only to treat secondary illnesses in relation to the onset of the symptoms of a particular virus. That's one of them. There's one big thing at the moment. There's a panic break, an outbreak, and everybody seems to think they're going to die. And we're also being pumped with information about deaths, how many fatalities there have been throughout the world. But I mean, people die from other things, like heart attacks and certain types of cancers. So in relation to that, it's still small. I know people are worried, and people seem to think the elder and the young people are the most vulnerable or susceptible to succumbing to this virus, but that's not the case. A lot of the fatalities that have occurred so far have been in the older generation, the senior citizens, etc. But children have been quite immune to it, and especially infants, to be honest.
Yeah, I get you. And so, other myths, other than that, because we...
people seem to think that just by touching certain... just by touching the coronavirus will spread. Well, it's not. It's a contagion. So, and it's quite dense. It has mass. It's not like the flu virus, which is massively small as compared to this coronavirus. So, God forbid, if someone sneezes, the set distance from a person should be ideally 3 meters or 10 feet, and like everyone is doing at the moment is wearing a mask. Majority of the people are anyway. I personally don't, but that's my prerogative. Is one of those things.
Yeah.
So we have to protect ourselves, keep things clean, and normally. Another thing people think is they're going to die, simply going to die. I think I've already covered this, but. That's not the case in the majority of the cases.
I think the main concern is about the elderly, over 60s, over 70s, and plus already suffering from certain conditions, heart problems, diabetes.
Yes.
Possibly already have some form of lung infections, already having lung infections, etc.
Very good point. The people who are most vulnerable or more likely to be affected in a very bad way are people with pulmonary issues or bronchial problems or respiratory issues, and third one is diabetics, because their immune system's already been compromised. Therefore for them to recover from a particular illness, it takes slightly longer than a person who's non-diabetic, who's quite healthy in general. So again, the program is about increasing the immunity, and that's what we're here for. But I'll let you continue.
We'll come to those.
Sure.
Important information, which we can share, but we will get to there eventually, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Right. So, are the statistics flawed? And I specifically mentioned this in regards to the UK. Are the statistics flawed because there's a lack of testing now? Not saying that the coronavirus isn't tested for at all, but only yesterday during Prime Minister's question time, we had Jeremy Corbyn addressing this issue with Boris Johnson and saying that, look, the World Health Organization is saying test. Just test people as much as you can for coronavirus, find out if they're positive or not, and this testing needs to be unraveled everywhere, so that everybody, there should be testing centres, there's places where we can go and get tested. Here they're refusing to do that, and you're only getting tested unless if you work in a particular medical field, or you do suffer severe symptoms and actually end up in hospital before they test you. Now, with that situation, the amount of actual testing going on is very small.
In comparison to the general population, that's quite right. Now, on Tuesday, I met up with someone that I know, and he's in the admin of the Greater Manchester Ambulance Service, and he controls all the paramedics. And I was speaking to him, and he was telling me, he said, as soon as we get called out by any paramedics, as soon as they're called out, they have to be prepared for the worst. So they have to treat every individual who's got the slight sniffle, cough, or is breathing heavy as a victim of a coronavirus. Okay, so everybody's on high alert. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that that person is suffering from the symptoms of coronavirus, because the common cold and the flu virus bear similar trademarks in relation to the symptoms that have been displayed in a patient. So that's one thing. The other thing he was saying that was the NHS is overburdened currently. It's under a lot of strain, and they simply can't cope with it. And I spoke to another friend who's in the army, who informed me that this is why they've deployed the army. They're going to set up national camps around the country to help cope with the ambulance service, the emergency services, basically the police and the ambulance.
Okay, so you've heard firsthand that the army is going to be deployed.
That's what I was.
Certain people putting that down to conspiracy theory, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I initially thought that as well, that it's but no, this person is a good source, reliable.
I literally tweeted a video on the motorway, British motorway. There was a guy filming large trucks with tanks on them being taken. And I got a bit of slack for that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's not in the middle of nowhere, it's in the UK. The guy filming's talking over it, his language wasn't particularly brilliant.
No, it wasn't.
But he actually said, you know, the tanks are being deployed, what's going on. But yeah, you've heard it here from Dr. Iqbal. A source in the army has told him, the military is going to be deployed into camps, hopefully to help people, more social.
Yes. Yeah. I also believe, I mean, this is my own opinion, I'm not sure, there's a possibility they might use these as quarantine camps as well, where they might keep people. I'm not 100% sure, but I read a post somewhere else.
That's right. Okay, so that's excellent. Okay, so quarantine camps. So there is quarantining, and there's a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ about quarantine, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yes, where Rasulullah ﷺ advised his ummah or his nation to, should there be an area of plague, do not leave that site, or if you're from outside of the vicinity of the plague, do not enter that region or city.
And that's quarantining from the sunnah.
That's quarantining from the sunnah, yes. SubhanAllah. There's always hikmah, whatever Rasulullah ﷺ advised us in.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to, look, let's say somebody does have it, or they suspect they have symptoms. The government we used to advise 7 days of isolation. Now they're saying 14 days of isolation. So how does one go about self-isolating?
Well, if you suspect you're suffering from the virus, it's best to avoid places where you might pass the virus onto the people through, it's not necessarily airborne, but if you sneeze, then it does become airborne. But places where, public places where there's a lot of people. So it's very simple, just remain inside, indoors. Make sure you have vast amounts of food and what do you call it? I forgot the name of it now. I can't think of it. Foodstuffs and
household stuff.
Household stuff.
That's
right.
Essentials.
Right, Essentials. That's the word. Yes, bless you. Yeah. So the essentials, and just I mean, if you're single, you're fine. But if you've got family, then it's best advised to keep the family with you as well.
Yeah.
Allow them not to go out, because more than likely they too will have the virus with them. Not necessarily true, but more than likely, because they're around the area where you live. And it's very, very important, keep surfaces clean. Like I said before, it's a heavy virus, and it's got mass, so it will remain out of the body. World Health Organization have stipulated 8 to 12 hours it will remain out of the body, and after that it will die. So and areas especially where door handles and areas that are used commonly, have them constantly wiped down with a antibacterial cleaner or any kind of a sanitizer.
Sanitizer.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Something that's people are running out of a lot.
I went to Asda today and there was nothing in the store, literally. So my wife ended up buying a bottle of bleach.
Yeah, I popped into an Asda for the introduction to this program.
Yeah.
Just to deal with the panic buying. It wasn't much so about where the focus is going to lead to, but yeah, the coronavirus has led to many things. Panic buying being one of them.
Yes.
And things are flying off the shelves. I think what we was mentioning off the time, what we were mentioning in the store was that a lot of things that people are panic buying. The question was, whether they're actually good for them, good for their health, because a lot of the health supporting, like things that are good for the immunity, good that help for bronchial infections, like over the counter medicines for that. There was plenty of them. There was plenty of orange juice. There was plenty of. It was just the other things that were being sold out. But I think people are more planning for the isolation, the quarantining, that they'll need food ongoing. But anyway, we are going to move on to some important information about the immune system. And I think the people at home will be looking forward to how they can boost their immune system using natural remedies. But we will go to our sponsors first, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we're back with Dr. Iqbal Zaid, and we're going to go into the immune system and what we need to do to boost that. But before we do, we did cover self-isolating. Is there anything more that people need to know?
Very good.
If they suspect they have
COVID-19. So look, we already know that we have to keep cleaning our hands with soap every so often. Some people say 4 hours. Some people are even saying as early as 20 minutes. So just be sensible about it, So constantly.
Is there any particular activities they do, or if they do something, then they should follow that by washing hands?
Anything, especially when they go to the bathroom. Obviously, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
They're saying don't even shake hands now.
Yeah.
Okay, if people want to avoid the risk of attaining the coronavirus, then do not shake hands. But that's a general concern. Also, if you do feel the urge to cough, make sure you do cover your mouth. It's very important. Otherwise, again, you could possibly make it airborne. If symptoms persist, then go and see a GP or a doctor. Inshallah,
okay. And I take it whenever if there's some sort of interaction or they're coughing and sneezing and they have to interact with us, then there need to be this hand washing in between that, just so not to spread it.
Yeah, it's precaution. Everything's precautionary. So anything to minimise the spread of the contagion of the virus, and that will be should be sufficient for the time being, and that's the only advice we have. I mean, they are putting vaccines through clinical trials, and it's very, very early at the moment, so we can't say how effective they are in relation to controlling or killing the virus itself.
Excellent. So let's get into what people need to do. What can people do to boost their immune system?
Good question. Yeah. Look, it's like the proverb, charity begins in the home. We always start and looking for things, what we have at home, simple things. We've got lots of things in our kitchen. Start with the kitchen first. Things like garlic, ginger, apple cider vinegar, honey. Honey is fantastic.
Yeah.
So these are simple things that can be found in almost every kitchen. Then we have things like black seed oil. What's the other one? Olive oil. Olive oil's another good one. So anything that contains omega-3, omega-6, omega-9 oils, they're very good for boosting immunity. Garlic and ginger, as we know, there's a paste that can be made out of garlic, ginger, honey, and apple cider vinegar, and in the Arabic language it's known as a majun, and also used in the Asian subcontinent as well. It's just a paste, basically. Grind everything together into a pulp. So you've got your garlic, you've got your ginger, add some honey, cover it, and then add a bit of apple cider vinegar and make it into a thick paste, and you can have 1 teaspoon a day. That's a fantastic immune booster, and at the same time it clears arterial plaque as well and coagulations within your circulation system. Keeps everything flowing constantly.
Alhamdulillah. So it's good. Okay, excellent.
But if you want to go beyond that, then and you want to supplement your body, I always recommend this to everyone, that they should find themselves a good quality multivitamin and mineral supplement tablets. One a day, that's all you need, and it contains everything required by your body for the day, recommended daily amounts.
The recommended daily amounts.
Yeah.
I mean, the recommended daily amounts are minimal, aren't they? The minimum.
They're minimal. But if you take the RDA every day, then it all builds up. You know, you're never short of it. Even if you miss a couple of days of supplementation, you've got enough in your blood to keep you going for a couple of days.
When I say tablets and all that, you can also get like minerals, multivitamins you can just dilute in water. They're effervescent. They disperse in the water, and you can drink them too. What would you say better, taking a tablet or something to drink?
It's how someone feels. Again, it's a matter of preference. Me, myself, I prefer the tablet. I can't drink the effervescent tablets. I've seen those, yes. Whatever you feel comfortable with. And obviously, some things, like tablets, their absorption rates are not as good as the ones that you put into the liquid, into the water. Because they get assimilated very, very quickly, because water is a transport mechanism as well, see.
Excellent. So if anybody wants to call in and perhaps ask any questions related to the topic, you can contact us on the number that's appearing on screen, or 786 476 5540. And okay, so let's go through some of the things we just mentioned. So these initial ones, we're going to go into a bit more detail, but initially Dr. Saab's gone through stuff you can literally mostly find in your kitchen cupboards or at home, basically. So what are, for example, what's beneficial about turmeric and black pepper?
Something I missed out. I should have spoke about this. Yeah, turmeric and black pepper. It's a very old medication has been prescribed. It's in Therapeutics, or also in the Ayurvedic system as well of medicine, which dates back to more than 12,000 years. Subhanallah. Right. So so if you take turmeric on its own, it's good for you. And a lot of people, especially our elders, they mix like a half a teaspoon in a cup of milk with honey, and drink it, it's very good. But if you want to increase the bioavailability, so the absorption rate, you add a pinch of black pepper to it. Black pepper contains something known as piperine. It acts like a catalyzer or an enzyme where the majority of the turmeric is passed into the bloodstream, whereas if you just had the turmeric on its own, the digestive juices will completely...
So you think the black pepper actually helps absorb the turmeric better?
It does, yes. It increases the absorption rate, yes, helps it absorb better.
Excellent. So there you have it. With a bit of black pepper, you can actually take turmeric a long way. Ginger, what's good about ginger?
Okay, so garlic and ginger, we know they're blood thinners.
Okay.
So remember, blood has the attribute of blood. One of the attributes is a transport mechanism. Anything that you ingest or take in has to be received by the blood to be placed or taken, transported to the point where it's required.
So whether it's oxygen
or nourishment, yes. So it's required blood. So turmeric, ginger, and garlic, they're anti-inflammatories, antifungal, and antibacterial as well. So at least you've got some way of battling the viral infections as well. So there's something known as the viral load. So when you're afflicted with a malady or an illness, your viral load increases, and that puts pressure onto your immune system, and it's the immune system that gets compromised, so it gets breached, so it becomes slightly weaker. And all we're doing with these herbs is to bring our immunity up to a higher bar.
Yeah.
And this is how we do it. So yes. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we start taking the supplements as soon as we feel that we've got a fever or a cold. No, try and do this beforehand, so your body is ready to engage in warfare. It's basically a fight.
It's basically precaution, preventative measures.
Yes.
Look, just a point to note, because we're going to carry on a little bit about what we can have on our kitchen cupboard.
Yeah.
But just to note, just remember that a lot of natural medicines, we call them, they're essentially food. Okay.
Yes.
Turmeric is food. Black tea
they
is
are
food.
these. Yes.
Ginger, garlic. We put in our curries.
Yes.
We spice things up with these. They're wholesome. They're in our food. So unlike drug medication, where you could potentially overdose on it, you can't really overdose on food. Okay, yeah, you could eat too much, but generally there's less of a danger, there's less side effects when it comes to those things found in nature. Is that right?
I like what you said there. You can overeat. It's one of my bad habits, unfortunately. But I was coming back to this. So people often ask me, they say, look, we eat garlic, we eat ginger, we eat cayenne pepper in our meals, but they fail to recognise that when we cook our meals, we denature most of the enzymes and the active ingredients contained within these herbs. So it's very important to take it in its raw form. Now, I remember having a conversation with you earlier. We were talking about allicin that's found in garlic. Yes, and that has a very short shelf life. So if you have it oxidating with oxygen outside, so once you've crushed it, it has a very short life and it won't act effectively.
Basically, allicin is when you chop or crush garlic.
Yes.
The compounds in it blend together, create this burst of allicin, but it's a very short half-life.
Very short-lived.
You either take it then, otherwise, if you leave it too long, it could just disperse and no longer...
That's what becomes denatured.
That's why... I think this is when I was mentioning the supplement, the widely available supplement. I think it's all over the world now. Allicin Max, where the allicin component's actually been stabilised in vegetarian capsules, so there's no gelatin or anything like that. And you can take this supplement called Allicin Max, which will put the key components... They actually smell like garlic as well, I take them.
Wow.
And... if you take a few of them, take a couple of, or if you take 2 or 3 a day, or more if you're ill, and they'll boost your system, add allicin to your system, and inshallah be a defense against anything precautionary, preventative, but also helpful if you're actually suffering from something. And I've taken it myself. I've taken it with other things. I think we mentioned just because of the nature of coronavirus. I mean, I remember speaking to Dr. Iqbal before the show, and when I had a bronchial infection that wouldn't go away. I literally a couple of years ago I went for Umrah, and I got really ill there. I must have got an older strain of the coronavirus.
You always do when you go to Saudi Arabia, especially Medina. Yes.
I was fever, flu. Fluey as in sneezy.
Yes.
Digestive issues. Couldn't control that. I had to actually, pray in the hotel and something, and I was in Medina Sharif, and literally, it was heartbreaking because Masjid Nabawi was a stone throw away. Yeah. But I couldn't go because if I had to run to the loo, for example, I had to get off my bed and get through the hotel room and straight away. Otherwise, right?
Were you having pulmonary issues, respiratory issues?
As well.
Okay.
And so, alhamdulillah, I got through it, and with a lot of rest,
yes.
and my body sort of worked its way through. And however, when I came back to England, every so often, I'd still get this bronchial issue in my lungs, a chest infection, and it wouldn't go away. And it was over a year, and it was like, this thing, okay, it disappears for a couple of months and comes back. Disappears and comes back. So I went to the health shop, and it's very, very good, informative people. It's the family business. We won't go into the well-known chain. I went to this local health shop and talked to the guys there. And literally, they were like, look, use Allicin because it'll fight infections, okay? But also, alongside it, they gave me herbal tincture,
okay,
called Bronchforce.
Okay.
And I can't remember the third element in there, but it had licorice root.
Licorice and chicory.
And ivy.
Okay. Ivy, okay, yes.
And one more, I can't remember. I think it was thyme.
Thyme, okay.
Ivy, and some of the drops of that dispersed in water, and the Allicin Max, and alhamdulillah, in a couple of weeks I was clear, and it wasn't like before where I was bouncing in and out of this thing.
MashaAllah.
And it did knock it for 6. So I've had personal experience of Allicin.
It's very good.
And obviously they gave me the Bronchforce specifically because it was chest related. Because Allicin can do wonders with a lot of.
Allicin anti-inflammatory, isn't it? Antibacterial.
Antifungal as well.
Yes. All these are very good. I mean, something else that's very good for people for bronchial issues, if they want to prepare themselves, is something known as oregano oil. It's very bitter to the taste, but you can get them in vegetarian soft gels.
Yeah.
And they're really good for bronchial and respiratory issues.
And the best oregano oil is the wild one that's grown up in the mountains.
Wild, most important, it has to be free of pesticides, so it has to be organic.
Okay.
All these herbs, black seed, turmeric. There's something else I've just forgotten to touch on.
Okay, looks like we have a call. Get that answered. Is that anyone through? Okay. Let's carry on.
Sorry, we were speaking about immune boosters. I was saying, again, everything has to be organic. There's one particular immune booster that a lot of people, especially Asians in particular. So there's a few. Let me go through the array of immune boosters that are especially required for people with dark colour.
Right.
I'm talking about Asians and people from the warmer hemisphere, the Oriental people and Afro-Caribbean people. So it's very good to keep up high doses of vitamin D, vitamin C. So vitamin C in particular, now a lot of people take vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is good. Again, you have to keep topping it up, but most of it gets unprocessed or denatured by the gastric juices in our stomach.
So many the term we use for that bioavailability.
Bioavailability,
is not as strong.
So there's it's not as strong. So instead, I recommend people to buy a good quality liposomal vitamin C. So what does liposomal mean? So liposomal is an encapsulation process where they capture vitamin C, which allows to go down into the food tract, into the stomach, but it's not damaged or denatured by the gastric juices, within our stomach, mainly hydrochloric acid. So it's slow release, so you constantly get a stream of vitamin C throughout the day, rather than having one big lump sum of vitamin C, which is negligible almost. I wouldn't say negligible. It does have its functions and its benefits, but majority of it gets wasted and it passes through the gullet and
basically
as a waste product.
If you want to get the use out of it, you would have to take more of it.
That's
Whereas if it's
we have another call.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. I think they're
not coming through.
Not coming through. So we've got liposomal vitamin C, high dose vitamin D. Another one.
We'll get. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Am I live now?
Yeah.
میرے پاس ایک کوشچن ہے ڈاکٹر صاحب کے لیے کہ وہ تھوڑا سا اردو میں ایکسپلین کر دیں گے کہ ہمیں سیفٹی پریکاشن کیا کیا کرنی چاہیے ہمارے اردو کے ناظرین کے لیے. حفاظتی اقدامات کیا کرنے چاہیے آپ قرآن جی میں اردو میں بتا سکتے ہیں؟
اردو میں بھائی آپ کیا پوچھنا چاہتے ہیں؟
یہی کورونا وائرس سے بچنے کے لیے عام ایشین کمیونٹی حفاظتی اقدامات کیا کیا کر سکتی ہے؟
میں اسی کے بارے میں بات کر رہا تھا کہ جو چیزیں ہمیں گھر میں موجود ملتی ہیں جیسے لہسن ہو گیا.
راشن میں تو آٹا تو ختم ہو گیا. نہیں
راشن نہیں, لہسن
3 بیگ اٹھا کے لے گئے 4 مہینے کے.
وہ تو آج بھی گئے تو وہاں بھی یہی حال تھا, کچھ بھی نہیں ملا. سو ایک بلیچ کی بوتل ملی, وہی ہم گھر لے کے آ گئے. تو احتیاطاً جو ہے آپ نے پوچھا ہے زیادہ آپ گھر میں جو چیزیں ہوتی ہیں جیسے سرکہ ہو گیا, سیب کا سرکہ استعمال کریں, بلیک سیڈ کلونجی کا تیل استعمال کریں, شہد کا استعمال کریں, بلیک پیپر جو ہوتا ہے ہلدی کے ساتھ استعمال کریں. تو اس طرح کی چیزیں جو وہ تو آپ کو گھر میں موجود ہو جاتی, لیکن کہنے کا مقصد کہ آپ پہلے سے استعمال کریں. یہ نہ ہو کہ بعد میں پہلے کورونا وائرس ہو جائے تو پھر بعد میں آپ یہ چیزوں کا استعمال آپ کو مدد کریں گے, لیکن پہلے سے اپنے جو امیون سسٹم ہے اس کو بڑھائیں, اس کی جو قوت بڑھائیں ان چیزوں کا استعمال کر کے.
اوکے تھینک یو. اور ایک اور سوال پوچھنا تھا کہ یہ سچویشن اتنی زیادہ ورس ہونے والی ہے کہ لوگوں نے اپنا راشن کا اسٹاک جو 2-3 مہینے کے لیے اسٹاک کر لیا ہے. کیا یہ واقعی سچویشن اتنی خراب ہونے والی ہے کہ یہ ایسے حالات پیدا ہوئے ہیں کہ انہوں نے ایسا کچھ کر لیا؟
دیکھیں یہ بہت ماشاءاللہ آپ نے اچھا سوال کیا. لوگ ایسا سمجھنے کہ پتہ نہیں کل ہونا ہو, قیامت ٹوٹ پڑی ہے. جیسے جو انڈیا میں ہندو لوگ جو سکھ لوگ کہ کل جگ ہے, کل جگ کا زمانہ ہے, یہ اخیر ہے. ایسا نہیں ہے. انشاءاللہ یہ ایک ہمارے لیے کہ آزمائش کا وقت ہے. کوشش کریں ایک دوسرے کی مدد کریں. اگر کسی کے پاس کوئی چیز نہیں ہے, ہمارے اسلام بھی ہمیں یہی سکھاتا ہے کہ نبی پاک نے فرمایا کہ جہاں کبھی کوئی ایسا آزمائش آئے ہم مسلمان پر, یہ نہ کریں کہ اپنا ہی سوچیں, دوسروں کا بھی سوچیں. تو یہ جو پینک بائنگ وغیرہ جو ہو رہا ہے یہ میرے خیال میں غلط ہو رہا ہے. باقی اللہ پہ ہم امید رکھتے ہیں. اللہ نے یہ بھی کہا ہے کہ نبی پاک نے فرمایا ہے طب کے ذریعے سے کہ اپنا علاج کروائیں, اور علاج کے مراد اچھی غذا کھائیں. طب نبوی کے 5 ستون ہوتے ہیں. जैसे नमाजें हमारी 5 होती हैं और जैसे अपने 5 स्तोन इस्लाम में होते, ऐसे तिब में 5 स्तोन होते। सबसे पहले जब बीमारी आती है अल्लाह पे यकीन रखें, अल्लाह ने बीमारी दी, अल्लाह हमें निजात फरमाएगा। फिर दूसरा उसका सतून है कि सदका दें, अपनी जान के एवज़ में सदका दें, खैरात करें, अमाल करें, अल्लाह से दुआ मांगें। तीसरा सतून है अच्छी ग़िज़ा खाएं। जब आप अच्छी ग़िज़ा खाएंगे वो आपके वजूद पे और अपने बदन पे अच्छे असरात छोड़ेंगे। अगर आप गलत चीज़ें खाएंगे ज़ाहिर बात है कि आप बीमारी का बाइस हो जाएंगे। फोर्थ जो पिलर है, छठा जो सतून है पिलर, वो है हर्ब्स यानी जड़ी बूटियों का इस्तेमाल करना। सो ज़ाहिर बात है कि अल्लाह ने हमें बताया कि हम मिट्टी के बने हुए हैं, तो जो ज़मीन से जड़ी बूटियाँ उगती हैं उनका हम इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो हमारे लिए अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वो बीमारी का टकराव भी करेंगे और हमारे लिए सेहत का इलामती भी पैदा करेंगे। और पांचवा और अखीरा जो सतून है हिजामा, जो नबी पाक की एक सुन्नत भी है और जो तहाफ़ मराज भी कहा जाता है उसको, उसका इस्तेमाल करें। सो यकीन, सदका, ग़िज़ा, जड़ी बूटियाँ, हर्ब्स और हिजामा, इन चीज़ों का इस्तेमाल करें। अल्लाह के हुक्म से अल्लाह आप लोगों पे अपना करम फरमाएगा
इंशाल्लाह। थैंक यू वेरी मच, जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
जज़ाकल्लाह व इय्याकुम।
Right, Dr. Saab. Hamza, you called through to asking you to explain some of the remedies in Urdu,
yes,
which you duly did. But you also went into what you referred to as, from your research, the 5 pillars of Tib Nabawi. So in English,
5 pillars of Tib Nabawi.
Explain that in English to the viewers.
Okay, so as you know, the majority of the scientists in this country, they've studied academia through establishments within this country, but there's also so in terms of medicine, so not just medicine, if you apply the rulings of Islam to any discipline, alhamdulillah, there's khair and barakat in it as well. So we employ methods of Tib Nabawi. So the 5 principles of Tib, just like we have 5 pillars of Islam, we have 5 prayers in Islam, compulsory prayers. We have others as well, like Hajjat and Ishraq. So subhanallah, so these are the 5 key components. We have 5 pillars of Tib Nabawi as well. So the 5 pillars, what are they? It's an empirical formula, so you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you skip a couple of steps and go to number 3 or jump straight to 5. So let me explain what these are. So the first and foremost element of Tib Nabawi is having yaqeen, faith in Allah, that Allah has brought this calamity down and affected us. Only Allah can take the illness away. No doctor can, no therapist can. Shifa is only from Allah. So we must maintain that and remember it. Secondly, sadqa. Allah says, give charity in your name. And also, amal salihat, pray to me. So amal salihat and sadqa, very, very important. It evades calamities. Third is healing by diet. Now, the English variant is, you are what you eat. So if you eat good things, it will be beneficial to your body. If you eat bad, like myself, I love my doner kebabs and burgers, so it shows on my belly. So it's not particularly healthy for me. So it's very important we maintain a good diet. Fourth is healing by herbs. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam pointed this out 1400 years ago, because Allah has mentioned that we are created from clay or the soil. Everything that comes from clay or soil is beneficial to our bodies. So treat yourself with herbs. And obviously, look, if someone's severely ill, then obviously go to other disciplines of medicine as well. There's no harm in that. But always try and go for herbs, because there are no side effects if taken in, sensible doses. And in fact, that's applicable to all medicines. But the risk of overdosing on a herb is very minimal. It's highly improbable. So the fifth and final element is hijama. Hijama is we call it wet cupping therapy. One of my specialty subjects. I get hijama done a lot. Applied to myself a lot. I enjoy it. So it's also known as the Tahafi Miraj, the gift from Miraj that was given to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the night of Miraj by the Malaika or the angels. Whilst Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was descending back to earth.
And it was that every group of angels told Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, order hijama on your
Subhanallah, yes indeed.
Miraj.
This is all recorded in the hadith of Asra wal Miraj, so anybody wants to study
that's
it,
right.
that's where they can find it.
I do mention a lot to our Mawlanas and ulama that, you know what it is, you always every year go through the Isra and Miraj story,
yes.
but we never hear the bit about hijama.
No, we don't.
You need to mention it.
Yes.
More because it's actually in there. Hijama is a completely different subject, something I'm fond of as well. I know done this weekend. And we will bring Dr. Saab back, I think, in the future for a specific real agenda session on the hijama subject.
I'm always up for that. You know, it's one of my passions is hijama. Subhanallah, I've written many articles on the subject as well.
Okay, so we're gonna close off shortly. Yeah.
Sure.
So just we did mention the home cupboard and. But there was stuff we went into vitamin C, which you probably have to get out from the shop, vitamins and minerals, oregano oils, mega dosing of vitamin D3 specifically. Let's have a quick talk on that before we wrap up.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned a bit earlier in the show, when the general rule of thumb is the darker your skin, the higher the dose of vitamin C that is required by your body. Vitamin D, yes. Yes.
And is that perhaps the reason why a lot of darker coloured people, Asian people, are vitamin D deficient?
Well, see, most of these people, they lived in an environment where the sun was always in the open. Yeah. We're confined within our... I mean, look what's going on around now.
Yeah.
And some people are saying we're going to be quarantined for 3 months. If that happens... We'll never see daylight. We'll have blackouts like they did in the world wars, subhanallah. But no, inshallah, that won't happen. Yes, so vitamin D is very essential, and it's also part of the immune system. So it helps induces the production. Vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin A induce the production of white blood cells.
Yeah.
So these white blood cells help fight any illness that you're encountering.
And if I remember, there's a precautionary thing that if you're taking high doses of vitamin D3, supplement with vitamin K2 to help it metabolize better.
Yeah, of course you can. Although the vitamin D that they're producing now don't really require vitamin Ks. I'm talking about the vitamin Ds of the recent times. Going back about 2-3 years ago, then you needed added supplements, binders we call them.
Excellent.
Transport activators.
I mean, you mentioned something earlier, then we forgot about it. You mentioned something. So before we wrap it up, just talk to people about honey.
Honey, subhanallah. Now, that's a wonderful subject. Now, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prescribed this method over 1400 years ago, but the Egyptians were using this way beyond then, during the time of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. So now, so what are the benefits of honey and how to administer honey inside your body? So it's very, very simple. You take a warm glass of water. So the way Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prescribed it in Thib is first thing in the morning, an empty stomach, take a warm glass of water, possibly 1 teaspoon of organic honey. It's very, very important. The honey is organic. And it's not produced by sugar-fed bees. So coming back to the concoction.
I think the term for it is natural, not pasteurized, is raw, isn't it?
Raw. That's honey. A good word. Yes, raw organic honey. So they always pasteurize it once, but on a slow heat. That's to remove any particles. Sometimes you have bees' wings and pollen. So it's only being filtered at one stage, not beyond that. So use honey and subhanallah, the exact mechanisms of how honey works on your immune system is not known. But Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also mentioned that stomach is the factory, or words to the effect, I can't remember the exact of these, I don't want to be misquoted, that stomach is the factory of disease. So all illness starts in the stomach. So subhanAllah, this is why Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam advised honey in water. And remember, there's Allah's also spoken about the honeybee in the Quran as well, and how it is beneficial to mankind. So subhanallah, there's a cure in it, there's shifa in it, and we need no any medical explanation or research elements to convince ourselves.
Okay, Jazakallah khair to Dr. Saab. So we thank Dr. Iqbal Saeed for coming today for this very special program.
Thank you.
It's been great having him on, and inshallah I for one would like to see him here again, so look out for another show in the future on up-to-date topics like the coronavirus, and inshallah we will see you in the next show. Assalamu alaikum.